Hello everyone, it's Arium aka Yuno aka the Firefist guy, and today we have deck profile for Geargias, pure with hand traps. This is Ultra Plants list. He got first place in Exit on Elimination with it, Exit on Elimination number 2. And yeah, I feel like this is a very interesting deck list because Geargias have been unarguably a bit of a decline. I still consider them the second best deck, but you could definitely disagree with that because one of the main selling points of it is that it has a great hat matchup. However, hat has been pretty much entirely supplanted by cat, except for new players. So that's a bit of an issue since, yeah, Geargia still has a good matchup versus Cat, one of the best matchups, but that still just means a 50-50 matchup because that's kind of the best you can get versus Cat. It's a very dominant deck, but yeah, this list is a very interesting innovation on the deck. So let's get into it. But one thing that this doesn't get innovated on and that will never get innovated on because it's really just that good is the core. 3 copies of armor, 3 copies of arsenal, 3 copies of accelerator, 3 MK2s, and 1 MK1. So what does these guys do for those of you new to the format? Armor is a 1900 wall that whenever he's flip face up, you search Geargia and you can flip him face down again. And is the main advantage card of the deck. Arsenal lets you you can tribute him to special summon from the deck in defense position another Geargia from the deck. He's also a 1500 beater that gains 200 attack for every Geargia monster on the field, so including himself. And Accelerator is an extender. You can special summon him in defense position whenever you control a Geargia monster, and if he gets sent from the field to the graveyard, you can well, when he gets sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add back a Geargia monster from the graveyard to the hand. And then MK2, whenever he's normal summon, you can special summon a Geargia from hand or graveyard. And MK1, whenever you can tribute him to special summon back from the graveyard a machine monster, a level 4 machine monster, with its effects negated. MK1 is mainly here, you know, for Geargia gear, Geargia armor, and yeah, the deck also has pretty much a tour guide in the deck in MK2. If you have Arsenal in the graveyard, you can tribute him to special summon MK1 or another MK2. And yeah, they are a really grindy deck. It's pretty much a ramp deck, which means like it wins by snowballing advantage. So it can get hard to deal with. The main reason why Cat has a much better matchup versus Hat, besides obviously hands not being very good versus Geargias, is that the deck is a lot more aggressive and they can push for early damage much easier than Hat can, which is kind of how you want to win versus the deck. But yeah, that's it. That's the core. Then we are running 3 copies of Maxi and 2 copies of DD Crow. This is kind of why I chose this list in particular. Hand traps in the main deck are pretty new in hat format. You know, you've seen some in the past, like Corey McDuffie main 2 maxis, but mostly they've just been side deck staple. But frankly, these are the hand traps that are live versus every deck. Viller is also technically live versus every deck, but it's very low impact. Maxi, like versus every deck, you can at least get a draw to, besides like spellbooks. And DD Crow is live versus pretty much every deck. It can hit, for example, just in the top decks versus Cat, you can hit the artifacts whenever they are Call of the Hunted or special summoned by their effect. Versus Geargias, you can banish the MK1. Versus Sylvans, you can banish Princess Sprout or Miracle Fertilizer targets. Versus Mythic Rulers, you can banish the rulers themselves on activation. Versus Mermail Tidal. Versus Infernity, pretty much the whole deck. If you can time a Crow correctly versus Infernity, you can win off that. But yeah, they are really solid and pretty cool innovation in the format. At least cool. I'm not sure how I feel about them being main more. I'm not sure if I like that, but yeah, that is pretty new. Next for the spells, triple upstart, 2 Soul Charge because it's a mid-range deck, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, and 1 Dark Hole because versus combo decks you are most likely gonna have less of a field, especially starting off. Next, for traps, we are playing 3 copies of Geargia here. You know, this is the power card of the deck. Special summons 2 Geargianos from the deck and increases their level by 1. So pretty much 1 card rank 4. 3 copies of Fiendish Chain and 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill. Both are really good in this deck. Fiendish Chain because obviously you want to protect your monsters, especially your armor. And Breakthrough Skill is just overall the best unlimited non-engine trap in the format. Then 2 copies of Wiretap for trap decks obviously. And then just, limited one-offs. Bottomless, Compose, Torrential, and Solemn Warning. For the extra deck, we are running 3 copies of Geargia and X. This guy is kind of the main win con of the deck. Basically, you can detach material to add a machine monster from the deck or graveyard, level 4 lower. Usually you want to add back Accelerator back in your hand, but obviously there's always situations where you want to add other stuff. And also whenever he leaves the field, including bouncing, you can special summon back a Geargia from the deck, a Geargiano from the graveyard, sorry. And this is usually MK1. So, if it leaves, you can special summon something back. Then, generic rank force, 101, Exciton, Dweller, Rhapsody, Black Sheep, staples. And then for the other rank force, we're running 1 Crazy Box for Skill Drain, 1 Giant Head for Soul Charge, and 1 Negusta Emerald for breaking gears in the late game. And then for rank 3s, we are running 1 Alucard, 1 Solo Silver Mountain, 1 Zen Maze. And then historic lists usually run 10 tempo, but Plant is a big fan of Acid Golem, and I also am kinda, big 3k beater comes up. But yeah, that is the list. Leave a like, join the Discord, leave a comment, all that good shit, ring a bell. What else? Something else? I don't know. Goodbye.